Let's swatch Essie's original Aruba Blue from the 1996 Caribbean collection. In my Essie collection video, I mentioned how this polish saved my ass in Aruba, and you guys wanted to hear that story, but I didn't mention how it also got my ass beat in Aruba, so I'll tell that story too. Several years ago, my Reddit bestie and I saw cheap flights for $200 to Aruba, so we jumped on them. The first thing we did when we arrived was pick up the rental car and we headed straight to the beach. We see an empty palapa, and if you've ever been to Aruba, almost every beach is public, including the palapas. We're both pale, so we go straight to it, and I plan to sunscreen up and paint my nails since I wanted swatch pictures of Aruba Blue in Aruba. We're only there for maybe 3 minutes, and this guy, probably mid-60s with his wife, gets out of his chair a good 20 feet ahead of us, turns around, and says, "It's time to go, goyles." He thought that being 20 feet ahead of an empty palapa gave him the rights to it, and that we'd just know that he reserved it with his mind. So of course, despite my social anxiety, I matched his energy and refused to move. Had he been humble and not so rude, we would have moved on, no big deal, but the audacity and the insults he threw at us once I questioned our need to move had us planted there. I was ready to age under that palapa like in that movie Old. It all came to a climax when he physically took his chair and slammed it onto my body, but of course, screaming ensued and he and his wife hightailed it back to, I assume, their cruise ship. For the rest of that trip, I had a defensive bruise on my arm that shows up in all of my pictures. But if you know a lady named Dolly from New York that looks like she's never used SPF a day in her life, her husband's a prick. And then quickly the other story about how the polish saved my ass. When we pulled out of the beach parking lot, being flustered and being just a goyle, I may have hit a downed cactus with the front bumper, giving it a small scratch. Fortunately, the car was the same color as Aruba Blue, so I got my nail buffer out and did a touch-up. But honestly, looking back, I'm not sure why I thought they'd notice the scratch. That bumper was held on by straps, and the hubcaps were zip-tied on. When we got it, it also smelled like my middle school gym locker when I'd go to many gym classes without taking my clothes home to be washed. So I actually had the interior detailed, so they got the car back in better shape than how they gave it to us. So those were my Aruba Blue stories. We actually have the first one filmed, but I'll never post it. Just listening to the audio raises my cortisol. But let me know what you would have done in the comments below.